Stake pools on Cardano are closing down left and right. Why is this happening in the bear market, and what does it mean for Cardano's decentralization? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Or if you're considering learning about stake pools or want to run a stake pool, these are some things you should know before you start. First thing I want to do is show you a couple examples of some stake pools closing down and a reasoning behind why they're closing down. Then we're going to talk about what is causing them to close down, and what the future of Cardano stake pools might look like based on this kind of bear market scenario that we've been going through. Okay, so here we have an example of a stake pool closing down. Stake pool CSCS, they say that they're retiring. Please stake with the OTG stake pool. Basically, they've decided to retire their stake pool because it was, they were struggling to produce blocks and produce rewards for their delegators. They are developers with Catalyst funded projects, but because of the min pool cost and then, marketing, they're a small stake pool with low pledge. And it's hard for them to, do that marketing while also develop and then work with the min pool cost and then provide enough rewards to keep people around. So they're running into that issue of just being a small stake pool that's trying to get out of those first few blocks of production in order to provide consistent returns to their delegators to keep people. It's like a snowball effect. Okay. So that's the first one. These people will stay in the Cardano ecosystem because they are developers with Catalyst projects. They're just simply shutting down their stake pool. The second example we have is ST4NA. This stake pool is closing down. It's kind of hard to tell why they're closing down, but the person states down here that they have a job lined up, full-time job in nature, which is great. But this will cause them to close their stake pool down. They also do say that, they will pay, the job is going to pay them. So it provides ideas that maybe the stake pool just wasn't as profitable as they thought. It wasn't as, hard to maintain the cost and the profitability to delegators in the bear market. So we have another example here of where costs, as ADA goes down and the min pool cost stays the same and marketing's hard, all these things add up. And as the bear market sets in, it makes it even harder. Our last example is the Flan pool. Flan pool has removed their pledge to stop producing blocks eventually, but they're shutting down simply for the same reason. The cost of marketing, the min pool cost, lower ADA prices while costs remain the same, have caused the Flan pool to kind of realize that shutting the pool down is the best option for people to stake with other pools that are more successful right now to earn better rewards. And Flan can just go about developing and providing content as they want to on Cardano without having to worry about that whole stake pool side of things. So now, why is some of this happening, and what is min pool cost, and what can we do if we want to start a stake pool to kind of work to make this better? Here is a great little excerpt that we're going to talk about. So basically what happens when you start a stake pool is, say I want to start a stake pool for my YouTube channel. I put up pledge, which could be like 10,000 ADA or 100,000 ADA or a million ADA. This starts the pool out, starts it producing blocks, or starts it to attract people. Now, because most people don't have 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 million ADA to start, they need to attract other people to the pool to help them start producing blocks. My situation would be that I would use my YouTube channel to be like, guys, stake with me. This is going to be great for us all. We're all going to join the stake pool, much like what Jack Fricks does. That is the marketing side of being a pool operator. A lot of people need to do the marketing because they don't have enough ADA pledge to just go produce blocks all on their own. If you have 100 million ADA or 20 million ADA, you don't need any delegators. It can just be you producing blocks in a stake pool by yourself. The problem is most people don't have that funds available. So we need to attract people to accumulate funds with us, and we all go produce blocks together in our stake pool. Okay. So that would be my situation. I don't have enough ADA to produce blocks on my own, but I do have a YouTube channel and I do have a way to market, and that can provide people to come with me to produce blocks with me. Now they would earn some rewards and I would earn some rewards. The problem is when you are a new stake pool, the amount of blocks that you're going to produce per epoch is very small. This is where min pool cost comes in, and this is how min pool cost works. If you create 0 blocks in an epoch, you get 0 rewards. Okay, so, and rewards are ADA. You get 0 ADA. Now, if you create 1 block per epoch, then you get 720 ADA for your stake pool. The problem that small stake pools are running into is that for the first block you produce on Cardano, 340 of that ADA goes directly to the stake pool operator, which would be me, right? In a scenario, I would get all 340 ADA. The rest of this ADA, 720 minus 340, the rest of the ADA goes to all the delegators. So if you have 10 delegators and they have to split this 270 minus 340, if they have to split that 300 or 400 ADA left over, it's not going to be enough rewards to cover them all the way up to 3 or 4% on our APR for their ADA staked. This is why small stake pools are failing and closing down, is because delegators are not getting the return that is on par with average. So they're probably getting like a 1 or 2% return. And that's just like, it's okay if you want to be in the decentralized, support decentralization or support someone just because you want to support them. But if you want to earn that 3.5%, which is about on average, you would not be able to earn that in a very small stake pool that produces 1 or 2 blocks in epoch. We can also see that the more blocks you create, the more money everyone makes, because after one block, there's no more min pool cost. Every block that you produce after that is equally distributed among delegators. This min pool cost is something that kind of the Cardano ecosystem's arguing about right now, about we should move min pool cost to 0 and let everyone set a variable ADA amount for the cost that they actually have, which would make decentralization better, because larger stake pools with more stake wouldn't unproportionately earn more money. Then it would also reduce the need for marketing as much, because people could simply look at the metrics of the stake pool, like saturation, block production, rewards, pledge, and stuff like that, to decide which pools are the best regardless of marketing. This idea would cause these three pools that I showed you to close down. They would not close down because they wouldn't have min pool cost to compete with for their delegators to stay and maintain and produce blocks with them. So min pool cost and marketing and stake pool operation being not just for yield are really important things that you have to consider if you want to run a stake pool on Cardano currently in the bear market. As the bull market goes, as ADA is increasing in price, everyone can go do it. But in this kind of niche scenario of the bear market kind of coming in and running, just destroying like the ADA price, it makes these things a lot harder. The last thing I want to talk about is 2 tweets talking about the future stake pool operation, where it could go on Cardano in the future. And this is by Monad and Dynamic Strategies. There's 2 tweets I want to talk about here about how they think that the future of Cardano stake pools is not tied to just running a company that runs a stake pool. It's running a Cardano project that has a need for having a stake pool, okay? So Monad explains right here, the marginal cost of running a pool is like, a very small amount of money if you already have a need to run a Cardano node, and if you already have ADA that you need to get staked, or that is ADA that's TVL within your project. The Cardano landscape can probably change from independent operators to DApp providers that have a reason to have TVL delegated to their pool. We can then go in here and we can see noticing an uptick in stake pools closing. It's part of the design. If you're only here to chase yield, you can't be mad when stake pools diminish, okay? So stake pool operators need to sit behind a business model that uses nodes for something else other than just staking, a DApp that needs the node that also has real, staking power and will be around for quite a while to produce blocks and provide delegation. This is what some people think the future of Cardano stake pools are, and with good reason. They have reason to, they have a good reasoning in the idea that projects that have TVL and have stake already, built into the project, they have a reason to have a stake pool that will not shut down even if the rewards are low, because the rewards won't be low because they just have so much ADA funneling into the project. Now, this won't apply to everyone, people like Jack Fricks, people like me, people who have or are building a big YouTube audience or like a big Twitter audience or something like that. They will have reason to have people delegate with them regardless if they have a project or not. That's part of the reason, that's why you can kind of always make money if you're famous, right? That presence online comes with certain benefits. So, it's worth noting, if you want to start a stake pool, you have a couple options. You can run a stake pool and just be really good at running a stake pool and marketing. You can build a personality online, kind of like me and Jack Fricks, and then you can probably try and start a stake pool with relative ease. Or you can start a project on Cardano that has a reason to have TVL of ADA and then use that ADA to run a stake pool or have a reason to run a node, which then you can run a stake pool, and then just funnel that into a, use that ADA into a stake pool. And now you have so much ADA that you're going to produce blocks no matter what. These are kind of the three scenarios that I see happening. The one thing that's really also important to note is that as more of these smaller stake pools go away, the decentralization on Cardano is not going to be as good. There's another battle going on Cardano Twitter right now about the MAV of Cardano and how it's at like 22 and we need to get it to 250. And that would mean that the top 22 pools, people stake to the top 22 pools on Cardano, need to move that stake from the top 22 pools down to some smaller stake pool operators. So it's not good to see these stake pool operators go. We want as many stake pools, small and large, as possible. And we want it to be varying. We want people to stake here, stake there. We want to distribute evenly the Cardano rewards and the Cardano delegations so that no pool has the ability to just take over, Cardano and make changes as they wish, right? No 51% of tax and stuff like that. All in all, I still think Cardano decentralization and stake pool, their staking system is still in a really good spot. I still do think that we have a lot, ways to go. And I think most people would agree that we have a ways to go in order to be even more decentralized than we currently are today. This is just some things I wanted to highlight about how stake pools are leaving Cardano. They are closing and leaving Cardano in this bear market. And I wouldn't be surprised to see more go over the next month or two. Is this bad for the long term? I don't think so. I think we're going to have plenty of decentralization and more stake pools come around in the near future, but it's just something to watch out for, something to know for. It's really interesting for me. If you don't know all the terms that stake pools have, like min pool cost, MAV, K, which is a saturation parameter, these are things I've been learning about. It's really interesting to learn about, and we can make another video talking about it, but it's just something that really needs to be highlighted if you want to learn about Cardano and learn about the ecosystem. This is a great place to start. It's another good thing to really understand so that you understand the decentralization. I've been learning about these things, and it's just really been opening my eye to more of the technology behind Cardano and kind of just like what is important as a blockchain. All right. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great day. Hope you liked the video about stake pools. We are currently at 208 subscribers on the channel. Really thankful for everyone who subscribed in December and the beginning of January. We've been doing really well, and hopefully we have a great January, and hopefully you have a great week. We'll see you in the next video. God bless.